This is Collective Drift. I'm your host, Erica Vernet Knowles. This platform was created to celebrate all women, the beauty of their cultures, and international travel experiences. Welcome to Collective Drift. Hi, thank you so much for joining me for the very first episode of the Collective Drift podcast. In this episode, I'll tell you a little bit about the podcast and give you some background on me. And then I'll respond to a few questions that I got from the Collective Drift Facebook group. So, first of all, my name is Erica Vernet Knowles, and I'm a traveler. I love going to places all over the world. I enjoy South America, North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, just about any place you can find me there. I'm a culture enthusiast and, of course, the creator and producer of Collective Drift. I spent a lot of time in the corporate world climbing the ladder in a number of industries. But over the past 5 years, I've successfully led 3 magazines as their editor in chief, 1 magazine as its publisher, and 2 publications as its executive director. However, culture and travel have always been my passion. I grew up watching my grandmother travel all over the world with her best friend. They went to places such as Turkey, Greece, Australia. They even went to Alaska and Indonesia. Oh, yeah, I tell you, all over the world. But seriously, instead of having a huge Sweet 16 party, I asked my dad to take me to Jamaica with my best friend. And we spent time in Kingston in a grill, really exploring the beauty of Jamaica. I mean, sitting on the side of the road and drinking a ting, eating jerk chicken. It was just really a great experience that I will remember forever. I studied art and design while in school. And more recently, I've been invited to be a part of the executive committee for the Friends of the New World Symphony, and I've also been invited to be a host for my favorite party of the year, Art and Soul, which supports the African American Art Fund at the Perez Art Museum, Miami. But I definitely would have to say that my most impactful cultural and travel experiences started in the summer of 2011 when I began my journey abroad for 3 years, spending the majority of the time in Lima, Peru, and Bangkok, Thailand. I've had an amazing opportunity to visit over 35 countries within Africa, Southeast Asia, the Caribbean, Central America, Europe, and South America. During this time, I had the opportunity to make so many new friends, especially girlfriends, that I now consider family. I did things such as attend a traditional Thai wedding, I danced on grapes during Verano Negro in Chincha, Peru, and experienced the Mewar Festival in Udaipur, India. I also browsed art galleries in Barranco, Lima, and danced at festivals and enjoyed live music. I even went to the Indian Cultural Center in Bangkok and took a few yoga classes there. But more importantly, I got to bond with great women that I would have never met if I didn't leave Miami. We had amazing conversations about life in general, of course, love, culture, and even diving into the dynamics of class and race. And yes, there were a few heated debates there, but we, of course, always ended up as friends at the end. And all of these conversations gave me an enhanced appreciation and respect for their cultures. I've gone on vacation with a few, and of course, we all stay in contact via social media. It's the connections with the women that I met while traveling that has inspired Collective Drift. Collective Drift celebrates international women, culture, and travel. I want Collective Drift to be magical for you, something that inspires you, at the very least, to learn about new cultures, but truly for you to have a taste of another woman's life, which leads you on a journey that you could have never imagined. In this podcast, I'll be interviewing women from around the world that are leaders, artists themselves, or major influencers in the world of visual and performing arts, culture, women's wellness, and travel. These women will be representative of various cultures, races, and ethnicities. We will discuss what it means for them to be a woman in their culture, their ethnic and cultural background, their art, wellness, how travel and experiencing other cultures has changed their lives, their passions, and of course, their favorite places and things regarding travel. My mission is to create a space where you can have these experiences, to give you and women around the world the chance to learn and share with one another, to give women of all ethnicities and cultures a voice and a space to tell their stories. So now I'll answer a few questions from the Collective Drift Facebook group. The first question: where do you plan your next travel adventure? So my next travel adventure is in Europe, and by the time this podcast launches, I'll actually be in Germany. I'm really excited about the trip because of 2 things. One, I'll be there for a month and a half, and I haven't spent that much time abroad since I lived abroad. And two, unlike most people, I haven't traveled that much in Europe. I've actually spent more time in the continent of Africa and Asia than in Europe. I'll be spending the majority of my time there in Germany, and I'll take a trip to England and Scotland while I'm there. Question two, will you be planning collective drift trips? Absolutely. There are several elements to the Collective Drift platform. First, the podcast, the Collective Drift website, which holds our podcast and curates culture, art, and travel information. Third, Collective Drift gatherings, initially located in Miami, Florida, are small events for women that are arts and culture enthusiasts to experience the arts, share their stories, and connect with one another. And to get to the question, yes, trips. We will take these gatherings around the world so that we can diversify the gatherings even more. The trips will be open to women around the world that are enthusiastic about the arts, culture, and travel. We will have a gathering at those locations with women from the destination who are invited to attend as well. We'll practice self-care, aka rejuvenate and relax, some spa time, some beach time, if the location allows for that. And we'll enjoy authentic food that is absolutely delicious. We'll participate in cultural activities, and we'll explore our destination's historical and arts institutions. The third question, what are your plans for collaborating with other women? Well, the majority of my interviews will be done with women. Most of the businesses that I've worked with and will work with are women-owned. The sponsors that I partner with are women-led and or support women. And of course, I'm looking for even more women to collaborate with. The following question, so will your discussions be multi-level? Yes, I'm interviewing women about a variety of things, including how they grew up, moving to a foreign country, what it's like to be a woman in their culture, their rituals and traditions, times when they've had the opportunity to connect with other women, experiences that have transformed them, their art, their passion, and more. And again, there'll be women from different ethnicities, different cultures, different races as well. And I'll be speaking with women that are different ages. So there are definitely multi-dimensions to this podcast and the women that I'll be speaking with. Next, what type of women are you inspired to interview? I believe women are creators by nature. So I'm interviewing women who are the essence of that. Women that are artists, singers, actresses, writers, curators, and philanthropists, women that have lived in or spent extensive time in multiple countries, women that help other women in regards to wellness physically and spiritually, and of course, women that have a story to tell. After that, I asked the group where they would like to travel to, and they mentioned Aruba, Barbados, Thailand, Ibiza, Seychelles, Maldives, and Ethiopia. Quite a variety. I love the Caribbean, but I haven't been to Aruba or Barbados, but I'm planning a trip to Barbados now. Of course, Thailand is like a second or third home. There's so much to see and experience there. I also had an amazing time and cultural interaction in Ethiopia. I spent about 6 days there on a road trip visiting indigenous tribes. I even had the opportunity to stay overnight with a family that happened to be on a day when a boy was going through his rites of passage to become a man. So in order to witness this, I had to sacrifice a lamb. So I had to purchase a goat that they sacrificed and they cooked. It was amazing. It's the freshest goat or lamb that I've ever had. But let me tell you a little bit about the rites of passage ceremony that this guy went through. So what I did notice was that the men all really embraced him and made sure that they were there for him. A lot of the men had different paint markings on their faces. The women also participated as well. The highlight of this ceremony was watching everyone gather around a herd of bulls and cows. I'd say at least 10 to 15 of them or so. And this boy, then he had to run and jump on top of the cows and run across them. To me, this was a way for him to act out his courage and prove that he was now a man. Now, of course, there's more to that than becoming a man, but this is what they go through in this tribe that I was visiting. After going through this, he actually has the right now to choose a woman of a neighboring tribe to be his wife. This tribe was related to the Maasai tribe in Kenya, which most people are familiar with. And I say that to mention because they did this jumping dance that was similar to the Maasai tribe. So imagine it's really dark. It's pitch black at this time. And the men and the women are gathered in a circle and they're doing this Maasai jumping dance. And I'm there, I'm kind of watching, I'm in the circle. And then the girls that are in the middle of the circle, there's a few women and men that are in the middle. So one of the girls pulls me into the circle so that I can kind of jump and dance with them. It was so much fun, really fun. But you could definitely tell that there were a few men that really didn't think that I should be participating. I was definitely an outsider, to the point where one of the men actually tried to pull me out of the circle, but the girls were there. They protected me. They stood up for me and were like, no, you can't do that. But it's dark. I can't really see what's going on. So I looked around, and finally my guide actually came in and grabbed me out of the middle of the circle. But overall, that was an experience in my life that I will never forget. I also asked the group what would they like to ask the interviewees. I'll leave this question on the Collective Drift Facebook page and Instagram account. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you can comment below. Are you following us? Make sure you are, and answer that question. What would you like me to ask our interviewees? Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Collective Drift. And if you're intrigued and want to listen more, remember to subscribe to the Collective Drift channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And stay tuned for the next episode. Cheers!